Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. We're so happy that you have joined us today, and we're going to jump right into our topic for today, but not right in, because I want you to remember, if you have not listened to last week's episode, we introduced our February prayer challenge, and it is not too late. We want you to go, and we want you to join our February prayer challenge. All you're doing is going to theredeemedmarriage.com, and at the very top, you can click on a little button that says join our prayer challenge or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what it says. You won't miss it. And it'll take you to our calendar, and you can go and just select a day and a time in February that we can pray for you, and that we will have it on our calendar. You can tell us what you want us to pray about. We will pray for you by name. We're so thankful for all of you that have already submitted those prayer requests and you've signed up, but it's not too late. We'll keep it open all the way through the end of February.
Yeah, so even if you're listening to this a couple of weeks late and it's already February, it's okay.
I think there's about 300 time slots on there. Okay. So it's about 10 a day. And I mean, obviously you've got
that'd be 280.
280. So there you go, Miss Math. And so we'll keep it open as long as all those slots are open. They're over halfway full. Mm-hmm. So get on there. And we'll be excited. Hey, even in real time, like right now, we have your iPad and like it's popping up and they're showing that people are signing up for the prayer challenge.
I just heard a text. I was like, oh, I should have turned those off.
So it just happens. It happens all day, and we read them, and then we save them onto our calendar, and we're back at it in February. So so don't forget to do that. If you want to know more about our prayer challenge, go back and listen to last week's episode where we just kind of talked about prayer in marriage. Mm-hmm. And that's when we sort of introduced our February prayer challenge. Okay, so today I'm actually super excited about this episode.
Because you have on your beanie.
Well, you also wanted, I do. It's cold in Mississippi right now. You also wanted me to say quickly that we're actually recording 2 episodes, and we're not going to change clothes. We're not doing all that mess for you. This is just real life. Okay,
we're going to have on a beanie, and look, I have on my Ole Miss sweatshirt.
I know, and I'm so excited. We're going to do that for 2 weeks in a row, I guess. So we're going to record a second session today, or a second episode today, because we're going to be traveling some next week. We're actually traveling a lot in February. Oh my goodness! I said we were going to get straight to it.
That's what I was laughing at a while ago.
Well, like, now I'm thinking about Birmingham. I'm thinking about our event coming up. So February 13th, if you're in the Gardendale, Alabama, so Birmingham area, or if you're not and you just want to drive in, I mean, we're going to be spending the night, so maybe we'll run into each other in the hotel. Who knows? But we're going to be speaking at their marriage night event. You can go to their website. I think it's gfbc.com.
I got nothing.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But you can look on our social media. We've been posting some things. We actually have an event posted on our Facebook page. So go there and sign up, because there is a registration and a small fee. It's for the church, because there's going to be dessert and coffee and things like that.
And they do have childcare.
Yes, childcare is available, so it's going to be a great night. We're going to have so much fun. I think it starts at 7. It's a couple-hour event, so we'll be there as early as 6 o'clock, hanging out. Looking forward to it.
Maybe it starts at 6. People can start coming at 6.
Doors open. They'll have a hangout for dessert and coffee and stuff for about an hour, and we'll just be hanging out with you guys, and then we'll jump into it.
Okay, so now we're going straight into our topic.
These people,
4 minutes in.
Hey, they love us. Okay, so I'm actually
love all that.
super excited about this week's topic because I think that this has a chance to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. Not only that, but I think it gives you an opportunity to walk away and go, okay, I now have somewhat of a roadmap. And what I'm talking about is this. This is, I come in from running, and God speaks to me. I just hear
on the run.
On the run, that's right.
It
happens often. So my family is always like, and I run every day, which that scares them. Or maybe it makes y'all happy because I'm praying. But it's when I shower, when I mow the grass, and when I go running, God speaks to me.
And there's no mowing in the 10-degree weather.
Right, but I do shower at least twice a day. And I run literally almost every day. So I'm hearing a word from the Lord quite often. And this one was good yesterday. So I came in, I told you about it, and I just started running with it, because where I remember, and you guys have heard all through you've heard this, how you wish you could go back and talk to your younger self and tell your younger self something. And, there's even a really cool song called Dear Younger Me. And it's just about going back and if I could say this to my younger self. And where I heard God say, I heard him say, what if you could go back and talk to Heather? Mm-hmm. Like, what if I could go back to the day that you confessed to me? Well, you confessed it on a night. So the next morning, if you and I had a chance to sit down and have a cup of coffee, although I don't drink coffee, but if I was drinking my apple cider and you were drinking your coffee, what would I say to you the day after it happened? And so I think what this is
like. The thing that I love about this is you're saying, what would I say to you the day after it happened, as yourself 15 years later?
That's right.
And that's what I love, because you said a lot of things to me the day after it happened.
They weren't kind.
Yeah. But 15 years, almost 15 years later, I keep claiming 15 and we're not quite there yet. Almost 15 years later, in this stage and who you are now, what would you say to me?
Because what I want to do is what I think this is going to end up being is I think it's going to be a little bit of a roadmap for somebody that has betrayed. So like in your case, you confess to infidelity. And if somebody that has been betrayed could sit down with you and say, let me tell you what's fixing to happen. These emotions, and this is what the betrayed spouse needs from you.
Yes.
And so I think it's so important, because if you're listening and you've walked this journey, there's been some broken trust, it's your fault, you're the one that did it. You can listen to this and you're really going to almost get like a checklist of, okay, I need to be doing all of these things. If you are the spouse that's been betrayed, I'm willing to bet that you can't put words to it. Like you can't put words to walking up to your spouse and saying, this is what I need from you. Because at this wherever you're are in your journey, yes, it's just chaos and you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So for both spouses, this is going to be invaluable. And you know me, Heather, I got to have a plan. I got to have a to-do list.
Yes.
But the reason why I thought this was so important to do it this way is because the person that has been betrayed, there's these expectations. There's this, but like I said, you can't put it into words because it's just so much chaos. But if you could hand your spouse a list and say, I need these things from you, this is what it would be. And you know me, I got to make them all fit. And so they're all going to start with an S. Okay, so I'm telling you, here's what you needed. And I've got because I got to have my notes, because I went through and I made a list of S's. And so if you were to make a checklist, this checklist is going to have 10 S's on it. And you can just make a box. Is a lot. And then I probably needed way more than 10 things from you, but I've narrowed it down to 10, baby. But let's do that. Let's just say I'm sitting across from you the day after you confess to me, and I say, I want you to be prepared for what's about to happen, knowing that your heart may or may not be in the place that it's supposed to be, but this is what I need you to hear. The first thing, and actually the first 4 things, are the 4 S's that we teach people. But I'm going to give a little more context in this setting so people will know. But the first one is just stop. And I would just stress to you the day after, it all has to stop. Whatever it is that you've done to break trust, it has to end. And I would say it's not, I'll do better, I'll start removing, I'll do better. No, you're not tapering off. It is a complete stopping. I would even say there's not even a place for you to have closure, and we messed that up.
I messed that up.
You messed that up. And so you had, and I just want to sit here for just a second. I'm not going to sit this long on all of them, but I want to sit here for a second because you messed this up, and you went and met up with the guy one more time, and the explanation for that was that you needed to have this final conversation, this closure of, I'm going to fight for my marriage, you need to do the same. The reason why, like some of you may think, yeah, I mean, you need that. Like you need that type closure. That memory of what happened actually is one of the more painful things. And you and I haven't really had this conversation before and talked about this. The reason why is because when you confessed to me, and then all of a sudden, all of those months and the things that were leading up to that confession, I wasn't a part of that life. Like I had no idea. But when you confessed, all of a sudden that became my story. And by you, I mean, another lie, because you went and met up, you know, and that is a part of my story. Like that was in the midst of my story. So to know that that's a meetup and an instant where you guys were together, that like that memory and that thought is almost or more painful than some of the other things that I try to make up in my mind, because I was living in that moment. And it, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were already aware of it.
That's right. I was aware of it. So I'm just saying to you guys, not a good idea. There's no time for closure. It is over. That's the closure. The confession is the closure. It's over. There's no gray areas anymore. And here's the thing about stopping. Stopping was a requirement, but that was just the first step. It was never going to be enough that it was just stopping. So stopping, and we teach stop and then sever. And the sever is, it's cutting every tie, every pathway. It's not just cutting the person off, it's cutting off any access. So you're talking about apps on your phone. You're talking about environments that you may go to, that would maybe running into the person, that sort of thing. It's talking about habits, any type of secrets. It's just anything that fed the sin, it couldn't stay, like completely cut off. Okay, so I didn't give you a chance to respond, but if going back, because I know that kind of brought some emotions when you were hearing me talk about the closure thing. Did you want to add anything to that
no,
or say
you're
anything?
Right. You're right
Okay.
on all that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So sever.
Yeah.
So are we doing this like if I was really sitting down and telling you these things, you would just be sitting there listening, going, "Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
you're
sir.
right.
You're right."
At that point, I was because I was scared to death of you. You were like, "You do these things, or it's over." I was like, "Okay, yes, sir." Or you were going to take my kids, and that was very fearful for me. But yes, I wouldn't have been going, "Oh, you're right." I mean, I would have been going, "Okay." With the things that I needed to do. But I can also know, that the morning after, my heart was not in a great place to receive these things, but I still would have listened. And I probably wouldn't have said, "You're crazy." I would have just been like, okay. Now in my heart, I would have been going, oh my gosh. Like I may not have agreed with them, but these are things that you wished you could have said to me, and I would have listened to them all.
Well, I think the thing that's so important about it is that you were also probably in a place where you're like, I don't even know where to begin
Sure.
to save my marriage.
Yeah.
And really he holds all of the cards in this. And so whatever he says, I'm going to have to do it. And so you may not have necessarily agreed with it, and I do feel like that's what a lot of people out there, they're listening, and it sounds a bit overwhelming, but it's like, okay, but just give me that list. Like give me that list and I'll get to work.
Yeah.
So the third thing would be no more secrets. And this is just that complete transparency. Obviously there's no more passwords. Your phone, if your spouse wants your phone, give them your phone. You always know where the other person is. One thing you did so great is just taking take a picture of yourself where you were, especially if you were going to be late to something or if you had to go somewhere that I wasn't expecting. But it was just no more secrets. You didn't get to select what things you needed to tell me. There was no selective honesty. It was you get to know everything. And that even goes to that time period where if I ask questions, you answer the questions. And that's what's going to start building safety. Without it, there won't be. If you get defensive or if you try to make excuses for it or whatever, then the safety will never return. So you answer the questions. You're as honest as you just complete honesty, completely tell the truth. And no more. No more, because there is no trust without complete honesty.
Yeah. And I can remember thinking, especially before I had a heart change, like, you're treating me like a child. Like, this is childish. Well, I acted like a child.
That's right.
When I stepped out of the boundaries of marriage. So, I just got to the place where I was like, yep, well, this comes with its consequence for what I did.
Yeah. So the fourth thing is the drawing the line in the sand. And that is, there's a lot of parts to this, I think. Some of it are the boundaries. And it's just like becoming really, really clear on these are clear, non-negotiable boundaries. They're not punishment, they're protection. But I think the biggest part of drawing a line in the sand is that you make a declaration. Like here's what I would say to you if I'm sitting across from you. I would say, you need to make a declaration to your husband that this will never happen again. Like, this is the time where the new marriage, the old marriage, dead. New marriage starts now. The old me, dead. The new me starts now. And it's just that building of the confidence that your spouse needs that this is never going to happen again. So then I would say, so this is moving into, guess, kind of some new stuff. But I think the first one is just surrender. And that's not surrender to me. That's surrendering to God. And because what at this point, the steps that I would have said 1 through 4 at this point, it's really, I want you to understand, I don't just need you to stop what you're doing. I don't just need you to stay in this relationship for the sake of staying. I need you to change. And so just to be able to relay that to you, that is the most important thing, is that you're changing. So it's not, I don't need to be the one that's having to manage your behavior. I need you to completely change and surrender everything about you and what's happened, your future, your past, your future, your present, everything, that you're giving it over to God. Because here's the thing, the version of you that did what you did could not be the version of you that stays married to me. And so that would be the biggest thing to take away from surrender. You have to be a brand new version of yourself. Okay, so the next one is the to be sorry for what you did. So this is like the real repentance. And I know, you can talk about it a little bit if you want to, but I know that early on, your repentance wasn't real sorrow. It was that worldly sorrow that you got caught, but it wasn't godly sorrow. So you weren't sorry towards God, and you really weren't all that sorry towards me. You were just sorry that you got caught. But what I need to be able to see really soon is real repentance, real sorrow for what you've done. And that's where the ownership of it comes in.
Yep.
There's no defensiveness. Oh my goodness. And anytime there's a hint, like you can't even hint at, well, if you had done this better,
right,
or if you had not done this, because that doesn't matter. You could have said no to all of the sin, but you continued down the path until you got it to where you were. And it wasn't my fault. And you need to be able to recognize that and understand that, because as I bring it up over the next few days and weeks and months, you can't get frustrated to the point where you start pointing the finger at me. It always has to be pointed back to you, where there's no room to protect yourself and apologize so that you're protecting yourself or your image. It has to be real repentance. And I would say the other part of sorry is recognizing it and saying it over and over and over to me. Like, I need to hear that. I need to hear that over the coming days.
That's good. And you were talking about the difference between worldly and godly sorrow. I think that there is in the sorry. I think at first I was sorry I got caught. I was sorry my reputation was messed up. I was sorry that what I was living in was suddenly stopped. Like there's a part to that, especially if you get caught versus the Holy Spirit are already working in you and you confessing. It's like, oh, I got caught and I wasn't prepared for that to be over. So there's a sorry that life is over. And, as crappy as that sounds, that's the process I had to go through. And I know I'm not the only one that has to go through that.
But your spouse can never hear that.
No.
Never hear that. I mean, even though we're talking about honesty and things like that, that's just something that can't be brought up because, again, it sounds like I didn't really do anything wrong. I've got to just get over it. I shouldn't have done what I did, but I got to get over it. And like for the spouse to hear that, like that is so extremely painful.
Sure.
And it may be true, and years down the road, you can look back and I can see that you had a process that you had to go through, and a lot of it was shame and guilt and things like that. But to have to hear you say, there was a time where I didn't want that life to end. That's what I was making those choices on purpose.
Right.
Like, because I enjoyed it or it was fun, whatever it is. But your spouse can never.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. That was something I dealt with my mentor,
right,
/ counselor, all that, and they weren't like, "Oh, precious one, I know it hurts." They're like, "That's because it's sin and it's wrong, and that those feelings are not from the Lord."
That's right.
Those are from and they're able to speak that to me. That's not truth. What you're living in right now is not truth. And so, like, that was, but I don't think I would have heard that from you, but because, of course, you would have said that. But for somebody, my mentor who was, she just spoke some hard truth to me, and that was one of those areas. But I just didn't want anybody out there who's listening, because I've heard it before, a lot of times before. Like, is it weird that I'm sorry that life just got messed up?
So while we're here for just a second, what about that person that there has been some time that's passed and they still find themselves, having these thoughts and these memories, these longings for this person?
Yeah.
I mean, what would you tell that person?
I would say that's not from the Lord. Yeah. Like, there is absolutely no, you could not convince me otherwise. The Lord only wants you to have thoughts and feelings for your spouse. Anything beyond that is sinful, and it's not from the Lord. So it has, there's not this, oh, it could be right. No, it's either right or wrong. It's pushing you towards the Lord and towards his desire for your marriage, or it's pushing you away from that. And so it's not truth. It is something that you can honestly start praying immediately that God will take away, because he will. Like, when I tell you, like, even you saying that makes my stomach churn, because I'm like, I got to the point where I was disgusted by my sin. Like, there's nothing attractive about it at all. And so looking back on, oh, I was so sad, I'm like, what is wrong with you? But it's because I prayed so hard and other people were praying for me that would be taken away. That those thoughts would be taken away, those desires would be taken away, and that I would see them how Christ sees them, not the person. The sin, that I would see the sin how Christ sees the sin, and it's disgusting. It needs to be cut off.
Well, I think of it just like any other temptation. If there's something that you've battled in your past and you have defeated that, you've received deliverance from that, there may be moments of weakness when the enemy tries to tempt you and attack you with thoughts of that again. But it's just like with, let's just say that that you were a drug addict and, almost completely ruined your life by doing drugs. And so you stopped and you got sober. Now, 2 or 3 years down the road, would there maybe come a thought of, man, I just need another hit? I don't know. I've never been a drug addict, but I'm thinking that that's the thing that people say that they would struggle with. But you wouldn't go, I mean, that's just a good thought. I mean, it's a good thought. I'm not going to act on it, but, it's okay that I think about it. No, you would go, that's not from the Lord. Mm-hmm. So you immediately, you just take that thought captive, you put it, because it needs to always be, anything like that needs to be something that it disgusts you. Mm-hmm. And that's where you should land. And if you're having other thoughts, then I think you haven't completely surrendered it.
That's right.
And you haven't been completely delivered.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that you're not going to have moments of temptation.
Sure.
That will happen.
Yeah.
But for you to think it happens often, I dwell on it, I think about it, I let this thought turn to this thought,
right.
That's wrong.
Taking your thoughts captive and making them obedient to Christ.
Exactly. Okay. So sympathy would be the next one. And here's the thing. That is just you being willing to sit in my pain and not just sit in your shame. You have no idea the pain that you've caused me. So over the next few weeks, months, and even years, the depth of that pain, you just need to understand that you can't imagine, you can't relate to it, but you caused it. And so you have to be willing to sit there and sympathize with me. So you listen, you don't try to fix, you don't try to correct things. You grieve what you caused, and grieve that alongside me. Then I would say serve. Be willing to serve me as best you can without expectations, without earning something, without, if I serve you and give myself to you in this way, then, maybe there's a deadline of this ending at some point. It's
right.
not that. It's like you are proving change is what you need to do. And so over and over again, it's waking up saying, how can I serve with just a servant's heart, however I can serve. Because I think that starts creating trust again, builds trustworthiness in you. And then it also leads to the ninth thing. There's only 2 more. The ninth thing is safety. And everything about this is the attempt to make yourself, to create you need to be a safe place. That's emotional, spiritual, relational, physical, everything. And it's the consistency of what you're doing that builds safety. It's not words, although words can help. It's your actions, and it's every single day. And so as you are a safe place to me, then all of the healing starts to take place. And so the last thing is this, and really the word is patience. So it's not an S.
That's not an S.
Yeah, so we're going to go with show grace.
Okay.
The reason why I think this one is extremely important, I mean, patience, obviously you need to understand that the road ahead is long and it's going to take time. But the showing grace, this is what I would say to you that very next day. I would say to you, what you've caused, I have no idea how to handle it. I have no idea how to respond. I have no idea how to react. I have never felt like this before. And so when I don't respond correctly, when I ask you the same question over and over and over again, when I get triggered and I hurt because of it, just show grace, because I don't know how to do this either. And there is some of this, that I could probably land in this pity party of, you caused this is your fault, but I'm having to work through the stuff that I'm working through as well. So it's just give me grace because my world has completely exploded. And so what I need from you is grace and patience because this is a reality that I never asked to live in. And so for you to just be able to understand that.
Yep.
Okay, so there's my 10 things. I gave you a checklist, basically. And so if you're at home and you're taking notes, you probably should go back and just listen again. That would give us more downloads and listens anyway. But they basically are this: stop, sever, no more secrets, set a line in the sand, surrender, sorry, sympathy, serve, safety, and show grace. There's your checklist. I mean, that is a roadmap, and that is a 10 things. If you are someone that has betrayed or broken trust to your spouse, write those 10 things down, and don't just pick 2 or 3 of them to do each day.
Yeah.
It's all 10 of them.
Yeah.
I
All
mean,
day,
and I
every
know,
day.
and I know that sounds like, oh my gosh, how?
It's fine. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, you're going to be fine because here's the other thing about it. God wants your marriage to work out more than you want it to work out.
He's
So
going
he's
to
going to give you
everything
he's
you
going to
need.
give you what you need to be able to check these boxes every single day.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is this: if you're surrendering, you go back to number 5. If you're surrendering, then all the other things are just going to happen.
Yep.
Without you really even knowing or really trying extra hard, because what you're doing is you're just trying to become like Jesus. And if you go through this list, you would go,
He
oh
does all
yeah,
of those.
that's Jesus, that's Jesus, that's Jesus, that's Jesus.
Or what he desires. Yep.
Yeah. So,
Good stuff.
all right. So anything you need to share from your perspective, would you respond to me or you would just say, yes, thank you for
Yes,
that.
thank you very
for
much.
the
Thank
list.
you for the list. I shall do these.
Okay. It's actually not a check. It's not just
No,
doing a
it's-
checklist.
It's guidance because we had none. And these are, things that I don't know how you feel, but I try to do all of these still.
Yes,
And it's almost
that's
15
right.
years later.
That's right.
So with number 1 being surrendering. And these things come out of a natural overflow of a surrendered heart to the Lord.
Exactly.
So I don't do them perfect by any means, but it's the goal.
You do a pretty good job.
Thanks, babe.
I mean, I'd say 9 out of 10 on most days. Wait. Should I say 98%? That's an inside joke, you guys,
Yes,
for another
sorry.
day.
Another day.
All right.
Goodbye.
Hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.